I was saying, y'all, it's your boy Rico from StreetScores, and we are coming with another mock draft. Again, at some point, I'm going to get on it enough to where I'm putting out these mock drafts on Mondays so we can have mock draft Mondays. But yet another one coming out on a Wednesday. Hopefully next week I can try to knock it out by Monday. We'll see. But today, we're here to try to fix everything with another 7-round mock draft. This is the mock draft 2.0. Again, we're doing this weekly, probably all the way up till the draft. You know, my main purpose of doing mock drafts is to put y'all on players, or even players if you know of them. I want to do like a better job of breaking down their weaknesses and strengths, or how they fit perfectly for the Commanders, because you may see a video, people breaking down Carnell Tate, Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs, any of those guys, but they may not necessarily exactly break down it from the lens of a Commanders fan, how they can help us specifically. They may lay out like how good these players are and what they're good at, but I'm trying to break it down in the point of view of if the Commanders get these guys, this is how they would help us the most. This is also how they can help us and things like that. How they would fit already in what we have going on, and that already, you know, if we're drafting Caleb Downs, the safety room and the DB room, Carnell Tate in the wide receiver room. So I'm doing a bunch of stuff like that. And with this one, I'm getting us a generational talent that will change our defense forever. But I'm addressing other needs like tight end. I'm getting us a really good potential edge rusher later in the draft. That could be like a sleeper, first round talent, but, you know, a little inconsistent. That's the reason he may be able to fall all the way to like round 3 or 4. Then I have a wide receiver. I have a linebacker, a corner as well. So stay tuned. But before we get into everything, make sure you still follow that like button, still follow the subscription button, still follow the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinion video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned to all the content. Appreciate y'all for supporting every video, man. Shouts out to my Watch to the End gang, man, that watches these videos all the way through. And then shouts out to Noti gang that are on these videos immediately. And even though I'm recording this at regular human hours, it's right now 2:25 p.m. Shouts out to those of y'all that are going to be watching this late night, my late night crew as well, putting in them vampire hours. So without further ado, let's go and dive into this video right now. Let's get it. Adam. Now starting with round 1, pick 7, we're going to dive straight into it. I have us taking Ohio State safety, Caleb Downs. And with all of these players that I have us taking in this draft, and maybe I'll do this for all of my mock drafts all the way through April, I also want to kind of give you the slightest at least background of the type of recruit they were. So that's why I'm including he's a top 10 recruit. We're not talking about a top 10 safety. We're talking about a top 10 player in the entire country of his high school class. And then I felt like this comp, I was really struggling to find a comp because he's just such a great player. It's hard to compare somebody to anybody else when I feel like he's going to be better than all of these other guys. So I think he's a better safety than most of these other safeties that have come out within the past few years. And so I couldn't think of a comp myself, but then I saw NFL Draft Buzz describe him as Troy Polamalu with Ed Reed's processing speed. Now, before we dive into everything, I want to let y'all know that I have every reason to hate on this player as a Georgia Bulldog fan. So for those of y'all that think that like I'm overhyping them or things like that, I'm telling you, I have the most reason out of the entire Commanders fan base to not want to hype this guy up. I don't know if y'all know, but like the whole, when he was transferring from Alabama to Ohio State, it seems like it was planned all along from the very beginning, but he like pulled up. He was acting like he was going to transfer to Georgia. He was leading everybody on. He told Kirby he was pulling up. He like got a bunch of the numbers from like the different Georgia football players and was texting them like, yeah, we're going to start these group chats. I'm pulling up. He even pulled up to start looking at dorms, and he was picking out which room he wanted. Like he had all of the scholarship information settled and stuff like that, just to go ahead and pull a rug from under our feet and transfer to Ohio State. And we believe that he already knew he was going to go to Ohio State, but he did all of that just to play us and just to troll us and things like that. So again, as a Georgia Bulldog fan, I have every reason to root against this guy, but the talent is absolutely undeniable, dog. With that in mind, hear my opinion that this guy just straight up, he's the best safety coming out of college that I remember. I don't know. I mean, like Caleb Downs is more, I think he's more talented than all of the recent Georgia high school elite talents like 5-star Malachi Starks that's now on the Ravens, or 5-star KJ Bolden, who's still on the Georgia Bulldogs right now, top 15 pick himself in probably next year's draft, the 2027 draft, or even Kyle Hamilton. And I can keep going further and further back to even non-Georgia high school elite safeties, but like Derwin James, Minka Fitzpatrick. I like Caleb Downs more than all of those guys coming out of college-wise. In my opinion, ignoring positional value, this is not only the safest prospect in this entire draft, in my opinion, but he's also just the straight-up best prospect in the entire draft. And he's only going to be available potentially at pick 7 just simply because he's a safety, and that's literally it. If we were picking 7th overall and he were available, he would easily be the best player available on my board. Easily. Because, again, I feel like he's the best player available, first of all. And I know a generational talent. I know that phrase gets thrown around a lot, way too often. But this is truly a generational talent, y'all. I don't think y'all understand. Like, he's the safety version of like a Jeremiah Smith. He's the safety version of like a Myles Garrett. But again, he's a safety. And I am not comparing him to Sean Taylor because I truly believe Sean Taylor, made not only the defense, but the entire team like way better, like game-winning plays. And this defense right now, this 2025 Commanders defense completely lacks playmakers and guys that can make a clutch play to win a game for your team on the defensive side of the ball. We don't have those right now. Caleb Downs requires game planning against y'all. And having Quan Martin, especially 2025 Quan Martin, plus Darnell Savage and Jeremy Reeves and even Will Harris, having those guys will not stop me from taking Caleb Downs at all. You can argue that we have a bigger need elsewhere, edge rusher, wide receiver, whatever. But you can't argue that Caleb Downs wouldn't come in and immediately change this entire defense, similar to how Sean Taylor did. Again, I feel like Sean Taylor, if he would have retired, if he was still alive, retired, he would have been the best safety of all time. So I'm not going to immediately compare Caleb Downs to that, but I think he could have a similar impact on this team to where even if you do need edge rusher more, you need wide receiver more, Caleb Downs is a no-brainer going to make your team way better no matter what you need. You could already have 2 Pro Bowl caliber safeties, and Caleb Downs would still be an excellent pick. Shouts out to NFL Draft Buzz. I feel like they described him perfectly. They said, watching Downs operate on film reminds me of a young Troy Polamalu with Ed Reed's processing speed. He simply sees things other defensive backs don't. This is the type of defensive chess piece coordinators dream about, capable of aligning anywhere from deep safety to slot corner to linebacker depth. His football intelligence allows him to serve as a defense's brain, while his rare athletic gifts enable him to be the heart of the defense as well. He will step into an NFL defense from day one as a culture-changing presence who elevates the play of those around him. The team that secures Downs' services is getting more than just a safety. They're acquiring a defensive weapon who transcends traditional positional limitations. His scheme versatility makes him a perfect fit in today's NFL, where matchup problems require adaptive solutions. He thrives in structures that allow him to read and react while leveraging his exceptional tackle security against the run. His ability to cover from multiple alignments means he never needs to leave the field regardless of offensive personnel groupings. Whether they have 2 or 3 tight ends on the field, if they have 5 wide receivers on the field, it does not matter. Downs projects as an immediate impact starter who will contend for Defensive Rookie of the Year honors while becoming a cornerstone defender for the next decade plus. Defensive coordinators will build game plans around his unique skill set, and defensive coordinators will need to account for his presence on every snap. His rare combination of instincts, physicality, coverage ability, and leadership make him one of the safest prospects in this entire draft class. The floor is multi-year starter. The ceiling is gold jacket territory easily, bro. And I completely agree, bro. Caleb Downs is that different. I really don't think y'all understand. Please go watch this tape. Again, this is coming from a Georgia Bulldog fan that has the biggest reason to root against this guy, but the talent is undeniable. And he's still a kid from Georgia, so I'm always going to have a soft spot for him. But at the end of the day, bro, I feel like if you're ignoring positional value, because of course quarterbacks matter more, they're more valuable, they're harder to find. Of course, edge rushers matter more, left tackles matter more. If we're ignoring positional value, Caleb Downs is the best player in this draft. He's the most generational talent in this draft. Like, as great as Ruben Bain is, as great of Arvell Reese and those guys are, there's other guys like that. Again, I think Caleb Downs is the safety version of a Jeremiah Smith that comes around once every 10, 15 years. He's that good. Now, moving on to round 3. Round 3, pick 71, Georgia tight end Oscar Delp. And he was a top 80 recruit coming out of high school. And to me, he's a raw, of course, but faster version of Trey McBride. Now, Trey McBride was a more polished product coming out of college than than Oscar Delp was. But again, Oscar Delp is also faster. He's 6'5", 250 pounds, and he's projected to run a 4.52, y'all. Of course, he's not as good as Brock Bowers, just overall. Of course, obviously. The Delp is a tiny bit faster while also being 10 pounds heavier than Brock Bowers. There's like some elite ceiling to work here with, but of course, you're always going to question a guy that, like, okay, if you're this talented, if you're that fast, if you're that big, you have all these athletic tools, why aren't you being utilized more in college? Like, why is your offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo in this case, not getting more out of you? Why are you not being targeted more if you're just such a mismatched nightmare? I trust that when he gets to the NFL, somebody's going to utilize him more than Georgia is, to be honest with you, because we just have so many weapons. I mean, over the years, I mean, it was either Brock Bowers and Lad McConkey being here, or even like, you know, last year we were struggling. Everybody was just dropping passes, but we had all of these receivers that we apparently like. And then this year, we actually have a bunch of good receivers. Zachariah Branch is a first-round talent, in my opinion. Noah Brown is a first-round potential talent type of guy as well. We just have so many, and we love to run the ball. And then we also have other five-star tight ends in the rotation that are just younger than him. A five-star sophomore, five-star freshman that are just getting targets and carries along with him. It's not like he's just completely X'd out of the offense, but of course, he has to share a lot of his production across other talented guys. He's not the only talented player on this team. I mean, Elias Williams, the true freshman this year, is a bigger alien than him. He's like a faster Darnell Washington. I think he has the potential to be like a top 10 draft pick in like 3 years down the line. Like that's the type of guy that's behind Oscar Delp, eating into his production. So I know there's going to be a lot of questions there as to why he's not getting the ball more. But I'm telling you, when you watch his tape, you literally see Trey McBride. And I want to remind y'all that Trey McBride right now is averaging more PPR points per game than all but 6 wide receivers right now in the entire NFL. That is scary stuff, y'all. And I think right now, in fantasy football wise, I think there's a bigger gap between Trey McBride at number 1 and whoever's at number 2, I can't remember, than the guy at number 2 is to the guy that's 15th or something. Like, it's insane. Like, he's been the most productive tight end in college. And again, I think Oscar Delp is a lower floor but higher ceiling version of that, bro. And shouts out to NFL Draft Buzz. I feel like this is a great depiction and overall assessment of who Delp has been so far. He said Delp's speed at 245 pounds opens up offensive possibilities that few players at his position can provide. Yet the modest college production raises legitimate questions about his readiness to contribute immediately. While his route running shows flashes of sophistication in intermediate zones, the limited route tree and struggles against press coverage expose technical gaps that need addressing. His blocking presents the most compelling contradiction, though. The effort and competitive spirit are undeniable. It's not from a lack of trying, but the lack of functional strength and refined technique make him a liability against NFL caliber edge rushers early on in his career. But this is the type of guy that I say you bring him in. I mean, we already have John Bates. Ben Sinnott can block well as well. I think this is your receiving tight end. This is your Zach Ertz replacement. And at the end of the day, man, just tell him to go out there and catch passes and get some yards after catch, what Zach Ertz cannot do at all since we signed him over a year ago, bro. This is a yak god at the tight end position right here, man. You give him the ball 10 yards, and he's going to get about 15, 20 more times than not, bro. He's usually going to break a tackle. He's going to try to run past the guy. And sometimes he even does the stupid hurdle and stuff that I hope he stops doing that because he's going to end up hurting himself. But, man, shouts out to Oscar Delp, man. This is an elite ceiling receiving tight end right here. If you get any sort of blocking from him, that's a plus. And even I mean, he can block well at times. You just don't want him necessarily blocking against guys like Micah Parsons or Max Crosby all day, Abdul Carter, things like that. But he can block like your average edge rusher, at least long enough for you to be able to run the ball his direction. So he's not like a complete liability in blocking. He's just fairly inconsistent because, again, 250 pounds, he needs to gain a little bit more functional strength, and also he needs more technique. And then receiving tight end wise, again, it's just some of like the rawness to his route running and things like that. But the ball of clay is there. The reason that he'll be available in the 3rd round is because he is raw in aspects. He needs to become more nuanced with his route running and all of that type of stuff. But the ball of clay, the pure talent, the ceiling is all there, man. I'm telling you, he has the potential to fix every problem that we have in this tight end room right now. Like, again, John Bates, arguably the best blocking tight end in the NFL. Ben Sinnott can block his tail off as well and even do a little bit of receiving stuff. This would be your pure wide receiver, your pure receiving tight end type of guy. I think Mike Gesicki is, like, honestly a floor to me. I think Mike Gesicki in his prime, I think Oscar Delp can easily become that. But I think he even has the potential to become a Trey McBride. But again, he's faster. So, I mean, I'm thinking if he goes to the right coaching situation, is going to be willing to be patient with them and coach him up on all of the route running nuance and, you know, improve his blocking technique, get him in an NFL weight room to improve his strength. I think he could become one of those elite tight ends in the NFL. But again, you'll probably be able to get him in the third round. Lack of production and rawness in both his receiving and blocking games as well. Now, before we move on to our fifth round, because of course we don't have a second nor a fourth round pick, but I'm working on, I think my next mock draft, I'm going to have us trade back so we can end up with a second or fourth round pick. But for now, we're going to have to go all the way to the fifth round. But before we get there, shouts out to Sleeper, man. And with them, you have a chance to 1,000 times your cash on daily fantasy football, man. I know we're going into a bye week, so we don't have anything to go on, but the rest of the NFL is still very exciting to watch. And even when we do return from our bye week, we are going up against the Denver Broncos on my birthday. That's why I'm trying to push 30K by my birthday, or 30K by the 30th, whichever way you want to word it to memorize it. I'm trying to get to 30,000 subscribers by my birthday, November 30th, because that night we will be playing Denver Broncos, and the way things are looking, sounds like we're going to be getting a lot of guys back, most notably Jaden Daniels. Maybe even get Terry back, maybe even get Debo back. We'll see. But either way, you can pick on stats for these stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to 1,000 times your payout on Sleeper. And right now, new users, like you see on the screen, can even get a free $20 without a deposit on top of the already 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. Just use promo code SCORE, that's SCORE, or you can just click the link at the top of the description of this video and every video on live stream I'm doing all season, man. And of course, there's the feature with squads. You can do squads where you and four other people, whenever any of y'all do picks, it automatically sends it to the squad, and then just in a couple of buttons, you can just click it, copy it, send it in, and you can literally tell their legs whatever combinations they do and things like that. So shouts out to Sleeper for making the process so fun and so easy, man. Shouts out to Sleeper. With them, again, you can 1,000 times your cash through Sleeper. Now let's get back to this mock draft. Now, round 5, pick 147th overall. I have us taking Notre Dame edge rusher Boubacar Traore. I have no idea how you pronounce that name. At least y'all see it on the screen. But to me, his ceiling, and I'm not talking about a comp, because a comp I feel like is like you're saying he's literally going to be that. Like when I say Caleb Downs is going to be, like, I agree with NFL Draft Buzz that he's going to be Troy Polamalu with Ed Reed's processing speed. I firmly believe that. That's why I didn't necessarily say ceiling. I think that's honestly, I think he's likely to literally become that great of a player. Whereas this Notre Dame edge rusher right here, whose name I still can't necessarily pronounce, I think his ceiling is a taller, heavier version of Nick Bonito over there of the Denver Broncos. He's a very raw prospect, but a very high ceiling raw prospect, like one of those boomer bust guys that, I mean, first round talent, honestly. I just think he's going to be available here, similar to Oscar Delp, still raw in a lot of ways. This is the guy with ridiculous talent, but still lacks a lot of the nuance necessary to be consistently successful at the NFL level. Again, Oscar Delp at tight end. Now, Boubacar, or however you pronounce his name, at edge rusher from Notre Dame, man. I mean, I'm telling you. I mean, I'm admittingly hoping that we swing on edge rusher in the free agency, with assuming that the mock draft, like if we draft the way that my mock draft is going, you take a safety in the first round, you don't have a second round pick, you take tight end in the third round. Hopefully we swung big for an edge rusher in free agency so that you have the luxury of, you know, taking a high ceiling, taking a chance on a boomer bust, high ceiling, low floor type of edge rusher like this one early on in day 3. So hopefully you swing big on the edge rusher. Dorrance Armstrong comes back healthy. And then now, I mean, remember, Dorrance Armstrong was 5th in the NFL in sacks before he got hurt. Then whatever edge rusher you went big on, maybe like a Trey Hendrickson or something like that. Now you have one of the best edge rushers on the other side. And then now you have this Notre Dame edge rusher learning behind those two guys, being a part of the rotation. And Jacob Martin, I mean, we've seen what he's done in limited snaps as a pass rusher. He's been one of the most explosive players and biggest playmakers on our entire defense. So that would actually be a really good edge rusher room. But again, that's assuming we swing big on edge rusher before we even get to the draft. But again, this guy right here is very raw, but he flashes first round potential at times. Like if you watch his highlights only, just watch the highlights, not his all 22 tape, you'd wonder why he's not a unanimous first round evaluation among scouts. But then you watch the all-22 tape and then you start to see the inconsistencies. You see that he's not that same player every single down, every single game. But when he's on, he literally flashes Nick Bonito of the Denver Broncos, who right now, before this last weekend of games, was third in the NFL in sacks with 9.5, or maybe like immediate. I think he still is. He's somewhere around there. He's still at least, at worst, top 4 in sacks in the NFL right now. Shouts out to NFL Draft Buzz. They said the tape tells 2 different stories for this guy. One of the tantalizing athletic traits that flash first-round potential, and another of a raw prospect who needs seasoning before contributing at the next level. Like, he's just so talented, but you even question whether he can even play as a rookie. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you have to wait until his second year to really get him on the field consistently, but the talent is all there. He has all of the things that you cannot teach, basically. His combination of length, burst, and bend creates a foundation that defensive coordinators dream about molding into a double-digit sack threat. When he strings moves together and keeps his pad level low, you see shades of the better speed rushers currently terrorizing NFL quarterbacks. The concern is not talent. It's the accumulation of technique, experience, and functional strength needed to handle 325-pound tackles who've been pass protecting since Traore, or however you pronounce his name, was in middle school. Those are all great points. Again, he flashes first-round talent at times. It's just whether a coaching staff can get that out of him more consistently, develop that, give him more nuance, more technique, all of that type of stuff. And that's just going to have to come with time. He's not going to be able to find that before the end of this Notre Dame season. That's somebody you got to draft and just kind of put in the refrigerator, let him work behind the scenes. And then maybe in 2027 or maybe at some point mid-2026, highly doubt week 1 of 2026, but maybe sometime in the middle of the season next year, he just starts to ball out and starts to show you a lot of that potential. And again, I'm assuming we swing big on edge rusher and free agency or trade for one, whatever. You have Dorrance Armstrong on the other side. You have Jacob Martin coming in as your situational pass rusher. And then this guy, at best, has to be your 4th best edge rusher until he learns how to become a better one. And then I think he has the ceiling to be one of the best edge rushers in the entire NFL. And then now he's one of your 2 best edge rushers on the entire team. Now, moving on to round 6. Pick 184th. I was taking Georgia Tech wide receiver Eric Rivers, the deep threat that we've been seeking for years. Like, that's literally my comp for him. We've been looking for a deep threat for so many years, and we always think we have it one guy, De'Ami Brown. He just wasn't that fast and wasn't very consistent. Even Jalen Lane right now, he's still working on it, very fast, but not very consistent. Not a great deep ball threat, not great at tracking the ball, not great with his hands consistently yet. But this guy is literally the deep threat that we've been looking for. Terry needs a deep threat opposite of him. Even if we do re-sign Deebo Samuel next year, and you have a healthy Terry and a healthy Deebo, you still need this dominant deep threat, which I would hope Jalen Lane would have emerged to become by now, especially with all of the other receivers hurt. So you've had plenty of opportunities to show that you can do that, and maybe he can next year, maybe he can the year after that or whatever. But I'm not going to go into this next season assuming that Jalen Lane takes that next step as a dominant and effective and dangerous deep threat, consistent deep threat, to where like other defenses have to game plan against them. So assuming that he will not be that, I'm hoping that he will. I would go ahead and take Eric Rivers if he's available in the 6th round. I mean, this is one of the most talented wide receivers available in the transfer portal before this 2025 college season started. He hasn't necessarily lived up to those expectations, but I feel like a lot of that has been because he's just been on Georgia Tech. But this is a really talented receiver that not only has all of the speed that you need, but also has the ability to track the ball. See, that's what separated Deshaun Jackson from other deep threats or other just fast wide receivers. Now, not every fast wide receiver is automatically a deep threat because they do not track the ball well. I don't think y'all understand how difficult it is to catch passes with the ball coming from behind you. You're not turning around. You're going like this, and then you have to be able to, the reaction time and all, to be able to locate it, catch it, corral it, all, that's like a separate skill in itself. It completely ignoring speed. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, if this guy has that, you have to take that because not everybody comes with that. There's a lot of fast guys in the NFL, but there aren't a lot of guys that can track the deep ball like that. Shouts out to NFL Draft Buzz. They said Rivers offers immediate impact value as a dynamic vertical weapon who can take the top off of defenses while developing a more complex game. So immediately, day one, he's your best deep threat opposite of Terry McLaurin. You can maybe even argue that he has the potential to be just as good as Terry McLaurin, deep threat-wise specifically. And then, as he's your consistent deep threat, he'll learn to work on a more nuanced route tree so he can get open in different ways and, underneath and intermediate and things like that over time. But as of right now, day one, immediately after you draft him, week 1 of the 2026 season, He is a deep threat with a little bit of other stuff in his game, but not something you can really depend on snap for snap. Now, his exceptional deep speed and fluid movement skills translate perfectly to NFL offenses that push the ball down the field, which Cliff Kingsbury definitely wants to do with Jaden Daniels, which Jaden Daniels loves to do. While initially most dangerous on go routes and deep posts, the technical refinement he's shown in creating separation at intermediate depths suggests that there's some untapped potential there that is yet to be maximized. So there is growth. His 2024 season going into this 2025 season now with Georgia Tech, he has grown. So that just goes to show, like, trajectory-wise, I think he'll just continue to grow and to continue to keep getting better at route running. And then eventually he won't just be a pure deep threat. He's going to be a receiver that you have to worry about covering in every level of an NFL defense. And in every way, you're going to have to worry about him doing slants, out routes, in routes, comebacks, all of that type of stuff. He's working on it. He's shown that he can improve. And I think based off that trajectory, I think he's going to continue to improve. The right offensive system will leverage his elite downfield tracking ability and surprise toughness at the catch point, using him to stretch safeties and open underneath routes while gradually expanding his role. I mean, he's basically going to be like a big distraction at times to where Terry and whoever the other receivers are, Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane, maybe Deebo Samuel, we'll see about Traylon Burks. Those guys should be open more often because you have to account for how fast this guy is deep down the field. And his competitiveness elevates his game beyond just a speed specialist. He fights through contact. He's not just purely a speed guy. He makes contested catches as well. He works back to the ball when the quarterback needs him most. And he shows more physicality than his frame would suggest, which separates Rivers from other undersized speedsters in his natural field for finding spots in zone coverage and ability to maintain velocity through his breaks, bro. I'm telling you, this is a guy that I know, like I said, week 1 of 2026, he's going to be an immediate deep threat, and that's mostly what he's going to be. But I have full faith that at some point, he's going to be a receiver that can do just about everything as far as getting open underneath, intermediate, deep down the field, whatever you need him to do. Now, development focus should center on adding functional strength to his lean frame and refining his route tree beyond just vertical concepts. His performance trajectory points towards a receiver who can outperform his draft position and develop into more than just a situational deep threat if paired with a quarterback who trusts his ability to win contested catches even despite his size limitations. And Jaden Daniels is the type that he'll just throw that up there. Yeah, I know you're small, but you've shown me over and over again that even as small as you are, you're willing to go up there through contact and make some contested catches. That would gain confidence and trust from Jaden Daniels, and he'll trust him in those situations more often as he continues to build on that and show that he can do that consistently. But I'm telling you right now, watch out, Eric Rivers. And, you know, as of today, he's probably slated. When I'm looking around, he's like a 6th round pick. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up making it all the way up to the 3rd round by the time we get to late April. When I'm doing these mock drafts, I'm going based off of what the big boards say right now. But I already know in the back of my head, Eric Rivers keeps getting better and better as people watch a lot more all-22 tape on him as we go through the combine and pro days and things like that. I'm telling you right now, this guy's going to end up going at some point day 2, probably round 3. And then I think he's going to end up surpassing his draft placement even beyond that. If he goes round 3, I think he's going to end up playing like a 1st or a 2nd rounder. I do think that. So if somehow he magically makes it to the 6th round, we have to take our chance on that. We need a deep threat opposite of Terry McLaurin. I love Deebo, and he's made some pretty good deep plays, and he's had some good down the field, you know, back shoulder catches for touchdowns and things like that. But I want a consistent deep threat that forces the safeties to play further back, have to account for him. That's going to open up everything underneath, and not just for our other receivers like Terry, but also for our ground game through the run and all of that type of stuff. Now moving on to round 6, we have 2 6th round picks. 195th overall, I was taking Oklahoma linebacker Samuel Omosigo. I hope that's how you pronounce that name. I'm just going to call him Samuel for the remainder of this video. And his ceiling, again, I'm not saying this comp because this is a 6th round pick, but his ceiling has the potential to be a Fred Warner type of guy. And today, again, similar to Eric Rivers, everywhere I look, people are projecting him to go in like round 5 or 6. But I think by the time the draft process finishes, he's going to end up being like a day 2, round 3 pick at the latest, bro. He has too much talent, too much athleticism, too much of a ceiling. Somebody's going to take a chance on him way sooner than where people have him projected right now. Everywhere you look, they have him in 6th round, 7th round, 5th round at the very, very earliest right now. I don't think he's going to make it that far. But again, right now, it's November 19th. A lot of things are going to change by the time we get to late April. But I'm telling you right now, Eric Rivers and this Samuel kid are not making it to where their draft projections say right now. Shouts out to NFL Draft Buzz. They said Samuel's evolution from high school of a two-way terror to college linebacker represents the perfect marriage of size and speed that modern defenses crave at the second level right now. The Heartland, Texas product dominated both sides of the ball in high school, earning consensus 4-star recognition while being ranked among the nation's top 200 prospects, and his prep excellence included over 200 tackles, 6 interceptions, 9 sacks across his final 2 campaigns, while simultaneously hauling in 1,500 receiving yards and 10 touchdown catches as a senior, showcasing the athletic versatility that makes him so much of an intriguing linebacker prospect. This is the type of talent you have in a linebacker right here, y'all. So if he can go out there and go catch 1,500 yards in a season, imagine what he could do as far as trying to cover and stop somebody from doing that, bro. He can go step for step with these elite talent and elite athletes and wide receiver in the NFL, man. Samuel's college journey began with patience and persistence, totaling just 7 tackles across 10 games as a 2023 freshman, while mastering special teams duties in Brent Venables' defensive system. The 2024 season marked his breakthrough when injuries opened up opportunities at Oklahoma's cheetah position, a hybrid linebacker role that perfectly suited his skill set. Starting 3 games and appearing in all 13 contests, he amassed 39 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hurries, and 1 pass breakup and 1 forced fumble, while showing flashes of the impact player scouts envisioned during his recruitment. So basically, he had somewhat of like a falling off. His freshman year didn't play a lot. Maybe some people forgot about how highly recruited he was coming out of high school. But I'm telling you right now, this guy has all of the talent in the world. Again, this is a linebacker that can go and catch 1,500 receiving yards in a high school season. Like, he's that much of a great athlete. And we're talking about in Texas, too. He's not just going against bums. He's going against other really good talents, 4 stars, 5 stars in the state of Texas, stuff like that. The athleticism, the ceiling is there. He just needs more time to develop that. So this is a guy that, like, say, I don't think we bring back Bobby Wagner next year. I don't think we should. But like Frankie Louvu, Jordan McGee, Kane Medrano, maybe another veteran that they signed, but somebody nowhere near as old as Bobby Wagner. And then you kind of bring this guy in as like that 5th or 6th linebacker that's learning behind those guys. And I'm telling you, if we just want pure speed and athleticism on the field, you want more Jordan McGee, Tyler Owens at safety, and then Samuel at linebacker. And that's like arguably one of the fastest second levels that you can have in the entire NFL, bro. And then we can just figure the rest out from there. Coach them up, but you can't teach athleticism, speed, size, all of that type of stuff. But you can teach those guys to recognize things quicker, to learn how to read offenses better, more consistently, to have better awareness and IQ, processing speed. All of that stuff comes with time, coaching, and development, all 22 film sessions, team meetings, and things like that. But again, you cannot teach that level of athleticism and God-given ability that he was born with, bro. So take that chance in the 6th round every single time. And then lastly, the final pick of this mock draft, round 7, pick 221 overall. I've taken Auburn cornerback Kayin Lee. And I think his ceiling is literally AJ Terrell, especially like play style wise, like just pure press man, corner, stuff like that. I think he has a lot of AJ Terrell to him again, but I'm not saying comp. I'm saying ceiling is AJ Terrell. I'm not saying he's literally going to become AJ Terrell. And this is a guy that, same alma mater, Westlake High School, all of that, always been rooting for AJ Terrell. And shouts out to his brother. Again, Clemson just has a Westlake pipeline right now that I do not. I hate it because, as a Georgia Bulldog and Westlake's Atlanta, all of that type of stuff, we're supposed to be Bulldog fans. I don't know why Clemson keeps stealing all these Terrells out of Westlake. But either way, I'm a big AJ Terrell fan, but I see shades of AJ Terrell in Kayin Lee. Now, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Waiting to take a corner this late in the draft. I know. Now, well, first of all, we are very limited in pick capital, and we have to prioritize certain things over other things. Also, they may just assume that Trey Amos and San Still maybe moving back outside will be good enough at corner for them next year, even though I don't really think so. I think they may sign a veteran free agency, and then you're going to have like Jonathan Jones and Noah Benogany rotating in and backing up and things like that. That's not the worst cornerback group, but of course it's also not the best. Now, also, secondly, why would a really talented corner that's 6 foot flat, 180 pounds, and projected to run a 4.3 flat, maybe even a 4.2 something, even be available this late in the draft? So I want to go ahead and get the weaknesses out of the way first so you can know, okay, this is why this guy could be available in the 7th round, and I'm not just pulling random stuff out of the hat and just drafting all first-round pick talent players all throughout the draft just to make a good mock draft. Now, I'm trying to be as realistic as possible. Again, even giving you the disclaimer that some of these guys that I'm taking in the 5th or 6th round, I think by the time we get to late April, they will not be there. But if looking at draft boards right now, a lot of people feel like they can make it there. Same thing with this corner right here. A lot of people have him projected going in the 7th round, maybe even as an undrafted free agent. And I'm going to tell you why. He's a pretty grabby right now. And the NFL refs will call a lot of his, what are considered good plays in college. Those are probably going to be pass interferences at the NFL level. So he's going to have to adjust his game around that. There's definitely going to be an adjustment period for him when he gets to the NFL where he's going to get penalties. He's going to have to learn how to adjust around that. And also, with any prospect available in the 7th round, he's raw in a lot of areas. No matter the position, if you're available in the 7th round, usually there's some talent there, but you're lacking a lot of nuance in different ways. Now, the strengths. Obviously speed, since he's projected to run a 4.3 flat based off of his tape from NFL scouts. Number 2, also his elite agility and smooth hips. That's already 3 very important things that a corner needs and that a coach cannot teach. You either have it or you don't when it comes to those things. His top speed mixed with his change of direction skills already tell me that he's going to be a ridiculous relative athletic score when it comes out. He's going to kill the combine. We'll see what his tape looks like and everything like that. But combine-wise, relative athletic score-wise, he's going to look elite. And he's also very confident and plays bigger than 6 foot flat. And that's another thing that's hard to teach as well. Somebody with that much confidence and plays bigger than his size. Now, he's a big ball of clay that if molded right could turn into a great player. He has so many tools that you can't teach nor coach. And everything that he needs to work on are all very teachable. That's the type of guy, the type of risk that you take in the 7th round. But at the same time, it may take some time. I'm not expecting him to be some lockdown corner immediately his rookie season. You may have to wait till like year 2, year 3 for him to become what I hope he can become, which is, again, the ceiling of like an AJ Terrell is not going to be immediate, which is, again, the reason that he would be available in the 7th round. But the talent is there. The shades and the flashes of AJ Terrell are definitely there. It's just not on an every snap basis, which is why he's not AJ Terrell coming out of college. But we'll see how it goes, man. I really like his talent. I think if he's available in the 7th round, maybe even available as early as like the 6th round, you probably don't even chance it. How fast he is, I think this is the ball of clay that makes our cornerback room, especially long-term, way better. He may not necessarily be able to really help us in 2026, but I'm telling you right now, this guy has a lot of talent to him that if coached correctly, and you could argue maybe Joe Witt Jr. and Tom Donatello, DB's coach, aren't the right guys to get this guy to coach him right. But I'm telling you, if he gets developed and coached well, and a team has patience with him and doesn't force him onto the field more often than he needs to be, this guy could potentially become like a real lockdown corner, bro. You cannot teach that speed, y'all. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know if you love everything discussed video. Please still follow that like button, still follow the subscription button, still follow the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned to all of the content. Shouts out to my watch to the end gang, man. Shouts out to all of y'all that watched this video all the way through to the end. If you still hear me and see me, salute to you and appreciate you for that for sure. Also, shouts out to my Noti gang that's on these videos immediately. Shouts out to my late night crew that's going to be watching this super late at night for absolutely no reason. I still appreciate y'all. Leave a like on the way out. And of course, let me know in the comment section how you feel about my mock draft. How do you feel about each player? How do you feel about the ceilings or comps I gave for each player as well? What's your mock draft right now? If we're picking 7th overall, because of course what's also different from this mock draft from my previous one is that we were picking 8th in the 1st round. And which, you know, as you go down, that means we were picking 72nd in the 3rd round. But now this draft, we're picking 7th in the 1st round, 71st in the 3rd round. So picks can change just because of that as well. But again, my main reason of doing these weekly mock drafts is to put you on for different players. I wanted to put you on this set of players. Now, after I've already told y'all about that, you're aware of them. You have them in the back of your mind while you're watching college football on Saturdays. Let me put you on to these other players that I'm intrigued by. And then, you know, you keep track of them. So I'm trying to make sure I don't like double up and draft the same guys in different mock drafts, because my main purpose of these are to put y'all on to players that I'm really intrigued by. Their talent, they may be raw, but this is a guy that, hey, man, keep track of them throughout the draft process, or even just, really keep track of them for the rest of this college football season, college football playoffs, bowl games, and things like that. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you would do with these draft picks, 7th overall, and all that type of stuff. Would you trade up? Would you trade back? And just to go ahead and give y'all a sneak peek now, I plan on my next mock draft being a trade back in the 1st round. So stay tuned. Make sure you leave a like on the way out. I'm going to catch y'all later. Appreciate y'all. I'm out.